Hi, today I'm here to give you 6 reasons why I think the handmade custom leather belts by Log Cabin Leather are a little bit better than some of the others on the market. There are a lot of belt makers out there. There are a lot of leather workers out there, and it's really hard to weed through and find out which belts and so forth are going to be better, especially if you're buying them online. So again, I'm going to go over some reasons why I think mine are a little bit better. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jan Hibbard, and I'm the creator behind Log Cabin Leather by Jan. I've had been making handmade leather products since 1977, so this is my 44th year. Belts have always been my bestseller. So again, the first thing that I think makes a real quality belt, if you want a rugged belt that's going to last. A lot of people, again, if you just want a casual belt to wear here and there, then maybe this doesn't matter quite so much. But what most people find is even if they buy a belt in a high end store, they're sewn together. They're very, very thin pieces of leather. And after just buckling and unbuckling them a few times, they wear out. My belts are solid leather. So they are not going to fall apart like that. They can't. They're one solid piece. So you're not going to have that issue as far as them coming apart. Now, the reason, there's a lot of reasons people do that for cheapness. A lot of times they have a cardboard lining inside to make it a little bit thicker, but it's not going to last. If it's stitched together, and especially a lot of men really cinch their belts up tight. If it's stitched, the stitching is going to break. It's going to come unsewn. The belt is not going to last. I do have an entire other video talking about price versus quality and what to look for because again, you can buy a belt for $5 or $6, but it's not going to last. This is where the quality comes in, and there is a difference. So the solid leather is not going to fall apart. If you're looking for certain colors like a gray belt, you're not going to find it in this type of leather because they don't make gray leather in they don't make a gray color in a solid leather belt or anything like that. And there's not a dye you can do for things like that. So something like that, it is going to be sewn together. And that's going to be fine, again, if it's occasionally used or for a woman, you're wearing it over a dress, something like that. But if you want a belt that's going to last, the solid one piece of leather is really the way to go. So that's the first reason I think my belts are better. The second reason, they are custom fit. People come in all sizes. People that are really thin, people that are really heavy have a hard time finding a belt. I make belts in all widths for people of all sizes. I've done a belt up to a 72-inch waist. When I buy leather, I buy whole hides and I cut these myself. I buy what's called a double back because I can get the longest pieces of leather. And yeah, sometimes people make fun of them when they see them at a craft show or something because they do touch the ground. But that way I can assure that it's going to fit somebody. And if you're buying it at a craft show, you don't have to be embarrassed by what your size is because you're actually going to put it around your waist and I'm going to measure it that way. So no sizes are going to be taken, no numbers are going to be given, things like that. Obviously, if you're ordering it online, you do need to know the size, but I can fit whatever size you want. I've done a belt up to a 72-inch waist. So I can make them. The other area where people can't find a belt is like women that are really thin or men that are really thin. Women that are really thin, they're buying a girl's belt or something. And then it's going to have, unicorns or something, not something that a woman might want necessarily to wear to work or something like that. So again, that's another difference. They custom fit when you order them online. You tell me the size. Pant size is not correct. I think every page on my website for belts talks about how to size it, because again, that's usually a weight. The pant size is usually off by 4 inches, and you need bigger. If you only, I usually do 5 holes in a belt. The center hole is the one that was the size you gave me with 2 to go bigger or smaller on either side of that. If you want it different, that's fine. Somebody just ordered a belt for me and they just wanted 3 holes in it. That's fine. That's what I'm going to do. So you tell me it's going to be custom fit to the size you want. The next thing is you get your choice of width. I do make belts in all widths for people of all sizes. I make belts as narrow as a 1/2 inch. That size I may be phasing out here, though. I'm not sure. Um, but inch and 3/4, 1/2 inch is a really narrow. Again, solid colors too. 3/4 inch, 1 inch, all the way up to actual 2 inch. So 2-inch belts do taper. That's the only ones that do, just because of the width. So that's, again, I would say more for a woman for a dress belt. It's not going to fit the belt loops. But again, beautiful tool designs, solid color designs, things like that. But you can get them in any width. So 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1.25 inch, 1.5 inch, 3/4. So again, any width you want, custom fit to the size you need. So that's my number 1 and 2. Number 3, of course, is the width. Again, any width you want. So good, solid, quality leather, the length you want, the width you need. All right, so that's my first 3. The next is the buckle. You get your choice of buckles. Now, a lot of people have, if you're my age, back in the 70s, people had all the fancy big buckles, things like that, or Weston buckles. Well, a lot of people still have those buckles, and they have sentimental value. But unfortunately, the belt that used to fit them when they were in their 20s does not fit them any longer, and they cannot wear the buckle anymore. Or, with some, it has sentimental value, most of them, and so they want to still wear it. Or people that have the beautiful turquoise inlaid buckles and things like that, but the belt is worn out. My buckles are all removable, so if you have a belt like that, I can make one in the width that's going to accommodate your buckle. Most of those buckles back then would either go with 1.5 inch or 1.25 inch or 1.75 inch belt, but again, they can accommodate, obviously depends on the buckle. If you buy a belt from me, it of course does come with a buckle. They are either solid brass or nickel over brass buckles, and I have 3 different shapes. So right here, I have the rectangle shape, I have the oval shape, I also have what's called a horseshoe shape. They have buckle hangers on them, so horseshoe shape. And again, nickel or brass finish for all of those. They attach with what's called a Chicago screw. So worst case scenario, if the screw comes out, it can be replaced, which is the reason I use them. Long time ago, again, I have a belt back here that I made for my father. This is one of my original belts. This is at least 43 years old. Has a snap on it. Well, if the snap breaks on your belt, then the belt's no good. And that's the issue that a lot of people have with these older belts that went with those fancy buckles and stuff, is the snap broke, the belt's no good. The only way to replace that is to shorten the belt. And in that case, most times it is not going to be long enough. So these are screws. They come out. Worst case scenario, you lose it. Those can be easily replaced. If that ever happens and you need one from me, I will send it to you free of charge. But, you can replace in your buckles, or put your fancy buckles on. So again, you've got the solid leather belts, you've got custom fit, you've got all the different widths to select from, you've got your choice of buckles or choose your own buckle. But the thing that really I think makes my belt stand out are the designs. Now, there are other people that do tool designs, but mine, the details and the intricate coloring and things are what really I think makes some of these stand out. Again, and these are just a few I happen to have. But and it makes them look entirely different. The same belt colored differently looks entirely different. And so these are just a couple samples that I happen to have here. I have several different widths, the 2 inch, 1.75 inch, 1.5 inch, and the other 2 are 1.5 inch. But again, the coloring on them. Now, these are hand dyed. The color is done by hand. I do have lots of videos that show how I create the designs. They are all my own creations. So you are not going to find these designs on any other website or anything. Only mine, my Facebook page, YouTube, my social media is the only place you're going to see my belts, because they are my own designs. And like I said, the coloring is what really makes them unique. Now, that's another thing if you want to really get a custom belt. I mean, you choose a length. Obviously, the design fits the belt. So, like, this design cannot be done on a narrower belt. If it's something like this is just a border design, that, of course, could be done on a narrow belt. It's going to look different if it's on a narrower strip. But, of course, something like that could be. If you see a belt and you like it, but you're not you want more color in it, that can be done. Tell me what you need, and I can do it. things like that. Or if you don't like the turquoise, the teal color, that's my color. Most of my clothes have this color in it. So, belts with this go good with my clothing. And see, this is a nice belt to wear with like a dress or something. You can choose your colors if if you custom order one. I don't charge more if you want that belt and the belt is online and you want it with different colors in it. That can be done. So again, you can really, and that's sometimes giving people way too many choices. So maybe I shouldn't go there. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, which is really number 6, what makes my belts better, is the way I finish the edges. I spend a lot of time. Now, this is a raw belt strip. The edges are squared. And I have videos. I have a whole video where I talk just about the edges and what I do to them to make them finish. They're squared at first. They're sharp. They're going to dig into you. They're rough on the edges. I bevel and burnish them, which rounds off the edges. But then I take a lot of time putting finishes and things on them so the edges are nice and smooth. So they are going to glide through your belt loops rather than, stick. Like this. This is a little rough on rough clothes. It's going to catch maybe a little bit. If you had something silky on, it might snag it. You don't want it to do that. So making the edges silky smooth, tapering them off. See, again, the edges on this haven't been done yet, are going to make it glide through the belt loops. It's going to make it last. The friction wears things. So having the edges smooth, it's going to cause less friction. It's going to last longer. So again, those are my 6 reasons. I will go over those once again. Solid leather belt makes a difference, especially if you're looking for a rugged work belt. They are custom fit, so you're going to get a perfectly fitting belt. You're going to get the width you want because I have all different widths out there. And so you select the width and so forth and the custom fit. So it's going to fit perfectly. Better than any belt you can buy in a store because it's going to be the size you need, whether that be a half size, 3/4 of an inch here, it's the size you need. You tell me. You get your choice of buckles, or if you have your fancy buckles, you can put them on. You get your choice of all different beautiful designs, which even the colors can be customized if you want to go that route. Something like that might take me, a couple weeks to finish. It shouldn't be more than that, but a week or 2 to finish, to do the custom designing, or custom colors. If you want your name or initials on the middle of a belt, if you tell me that, when I'm making the belt, I can put a name or something like that on it. On some I've done, engraving on the back, things like that. So things like that are also options. And the way the edges are finished make the belts really glide through your belt loops and last a lot longer. So that's what I wanted to share today. I do have a new belt line. I have 28 new hand tools belt designs that are coming out March 10th. And if you join my email, you will get invited you will become a VIP insider and you will get an automatic discount, a 20% discount on your first order. But you also get invited to the preview party where you can order the belts ahead of time before they're available to the public. Right now, I only have a certain number in stock. If you want the custom things, obviously you're going to have to wait a little bit, but otherwise, first come, first serve. When they're gone, people might have to wait a little bit longer, to get them. So join my email. There will be a link. There is a link under this, so you can do that. That's going to wrap it up for right now. Once again, Jan Hibbard, Log Cabin Leather by Jan. My website, logcabinleatherbyjan.com. You can find me on Facebook at logcabinleatherbyjan.com or Log Cabin Leather by Jan also. And that's going to wrap it up for now. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.